Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Skokie Village Board for Tuesday, January the 16th, 2018. This evening, we will have the pleasure of being led in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Cub Scout Pack 268 and 970 from Skokie School District 68. Gentlemen.
Will the audience please rise? Color guard, post the colors. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. 2. Color guard, retreat. Color guard, dismiss.
Thank you. Great job, as always. The meeting will come to order, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Roberts.
Here.
Trustee Sutker.
Here.
Trustee Ulrich.
Here.
Trustee Bromberg.
Here.
Trustee Klein.
Here.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Here.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Here. We have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. A motion would be in order. Trustee Ulrich, seconded by Trustee Gray Keeler. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody would like to have removed? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. Next item is report of our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you, Mayor Van Dusen and Village Board. Good evening, everyone. Item A is regarding a commercial corridor storefront enhancement program grant for the 4636 Oakton Street property. In order to further encourage enhancing the commercial corridors in Skokie, the village created this storefront enhancement program. The program recognizes the need and cost of reinvesting in these properties and thus offers storefront grant rebates for exterior and interior renovations. The rebate is a 60-40 cost share, with the applicant paying 60%. The new tenant of the building at 4636 Oakton Street, Mr. Adili, has applied for funding under the program. He recently signed a lease for 1,200 square feet of space with the intent of opening a Middle Eastern bakery. The bakery will initially have 4 employees. Planned improvements to the interior of the building include plumbing, electrical, drywall, tile work, painting, utility lines, and additional fixtures to produce a viable and attractive bakery. New exterior signage is also planned. Estimates for the work total approximately $56,000. Of that amount, $22,400 is deemed eligible for the interior reimbursement. Exterior signage costs are estimated at $5,000, of which $2,000 is deemed eligible. Architectural fees are $3,000. The property is eligible for a total village grant of $27,400, which would be transferred to the owner following the completion of all that work. Leslie Murphy has been working directly with the applicant, and I've asked her to introduce him this evening.
Thank you, Manager. Daya Aladali is here tonight. He's actually part of several people that were interested in opening up new restaurants and bakeries here in town. He came to us sometime in November, I think?
Yeah, actually I came in November.
Yes.
And I'm interested here for this bakery.
Yes. And so he is planning to, as soon as he gets approval here, to get going on the interior construction. This has been a location. What was the prior use of this space that you're occupying? Do you remember who was in there beforehand?
It used to be dollar store.
The dollar store, right over on
Right next to
Oakton. Yes, and this is just east of Skokie Boulevard on Oakton Street, on the north side of the street, across from the aquatic park.
Street, cross.
Mhm.
Knox and Upton's Coast.
Mhm. So we're very excited to be able to offer some assistance to this gentleman.
So it's our request this evening for approval of a grant not to exceed the $27,400 for the 4636 Oakton Street property.
A motion is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Gray Keeler. Are there any comments or any questions? Trustee Alanka.
Is this the dollar store that's there now, or the previous vacated part?
The previous vacated part.
Okay, so just
Across the
the west
street.
of it?
Yes,
Okay,
just
got
west
it.
of, or just east of there.
East of,
Mhm. Right
okay.
West.
East of the
East, yeah, it's on the north,
The dollar
east
store is
corner.
east of my location, except the corner. I'm in the west.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
been some moving around.
So it's been vacant for a few years, is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah, oh, it
Okay.
has.
Thanks.
Is it the former ice cream? No. Is it? No.
Knox and Oakton,
Knox.
Nice.
if I remember correctly. Trustee Roberts.
Well, I just want to say welcome, and would you tell me a little bit about the types of bakery goods? I understand would this be similar if I was a resident of Mosul in Iraq? I would come to this bakery because I would know the goods?
Actually, the type of the bread is.
Go ahead, Ken, go ahead.
Yeah. Like it's, we plan like make everything fresh. Like we not making to keep it in frozen and sell it next time. We excuse me. Like we're gonna make it fresh we open 24 hours to keep cooking everything fresh. Like the time we mix the dough, we not mix the dough for week and keep it in a frozen. Like day by day, the fresh everything is gonna be the bread, the donuts, the coffee, everything is fresh for daily. And the oven, everything it's like handmade. We never use like a machine or something. Everything is gonna be handmade. Thank you.
Why you decided to name the bakery?
Why they decided to name the bakery? Because like that town, it's like shortly back in 2013, so it's gone for the war and everything. So we move it, and the people start moving. So just because we're from this town.
Great, thank you.
I'm going to have to alter my route into work now.
And the bakery was like the same name, and when back in 1956, I think, my grandfather.
Oh, your grandfather.
Mhm.
Oh,
The
so
same name.
the same name that your grandfather
Mhm.
had back in
In the same town.
1956. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great start.
You mentioned coffee. Are you going to have, over here? You mentioned coffee. Are you going to
Yeah,
have?
it's gonna be
like
coffee and
tables
donuts.
for people to sit at and eat
No,
there?
just carry out.
Carry out only.
Mhm.
Got it.
That's all. And donuts and coffee, everything is handmade and carry out all.
Great. Sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutka.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Wendes.
Aye. Congratulations. Welcome. We look forward to your bakery.
And just to clarify, the location is located on Oakton Street, in between the consulting firm that is there and the former dollar store. It was a laundromat at one point, if my recollection is correct. And so, just so everyone can picture the bakery when it's open, where you'll be located. Item B is regarding a Cook County Class 7C real estate tax incentive for 4107 Oakton Street. Economic Development Specialist Leslie Murphy is recommending a Class 7C real estate tax incentive for property located at 4107 Oakton Street. This property was purchased by Grand Lifestyles LLC in December of 2017. Grand Lifestyles LLC specializes in managing senior living communities. They currently operate 4 supportive living facilities and 1 independent living facility in the Chicagoland area. They purchased this property for the purpose of consolidating their operations into 1 centrally located office in Skokie to provide back office support for their growing number of senior living facilities. Grand Lifestyles plans to initially occupy the 2nd floor and potentially lease the 1st floor until they are ready to expand their operations. Interior and exterior renovation of the building is planned to begin immediately and be completed by mid-2018. Improvements include the construction of office space and workstations, roof replacement, masonry repair, parking lot upgrades, replacement of flooring caused by flooding, drywall replacement, painting, and carpeting. The total cost of improvements is expected to be at least $200,000. A Class 7C incentive provides a 5-year property tax incentive for real estate that has been previously abandoned for more than 12 months and has been substantially rehabilitated and used primarily for commercial purposes. The property would be assessed at 10% of market value for the first 3 years, 15% in the 4th year, and 20% in the 5th year. The assessed valuation of this property was $55,988. The total real estate tax has dropped to $18,700 from 2015 to 2017 due to the vacancy. However, after the sale and rehab, the assessed value is expected to rise $150,000 to over $178,000. After the end of the 5-year period, the total annual real estate tax amount is expected to more than triple to be over $60,000. Without the incentive, the project is viewed to be too risky to commence. Approval of the village board is necessary. I concur with staff's recommendation and their assessment that this project is an excellent candidate for a Class 7C designation. This evening, their attorney is in the audience. Leslie, if you want to introduce him.
Yes, Alan Skodowski of Alan Skodowski and Associates is here representing the applicant, which is Grand Lifestyles. They are out of the state at this point, so they're here representing, he's here representing the applicant. They would be here if they could.
So this evening, we're respectfully requesting mayor and board approval of a resolution authorizing this classification.
Okay. A motion would be to recommend the assessment of a Cook County Class 7C real estate tax incentive for 4107 Oakton Street. Motion is in order. Trustee Sucker, seconded by Trustee Roberts. Are there comments, questions? Trustee Roberts.
Leslie, I know that we've done a number of the 6B incentives for the industrial. Is this our first
Yes.
7C?
Yes, this is our
Okay.
first, what the county has so aptly named it as the CURE incentive, Commercial Urban Relief Eligibility. This has been around for several years. We've had a couple of inquiries in the last couple of years because the county has been marketing it a little bit more successfully, I guess. And so we took it upon ourselves to look into the incentive, and because it's really only a 5-year incentive, and it helps to promote the village's reputation in terms of being able to encourage more smaller commercial users to come into play, as opposed to just focusing on incentives via our TIF districts or via the 6B for industrial uses. This is another means for getting certain investors to come in and give them a short-term relief on the overall assessment, and then it'll make the projects a little more worthwhile for them. And that this is an ideal first case for us.
Great. You think we'll see more interest in
Oh, yeah.
this in
Yes.
Skokie in the
Actually,
future?
my counterparts in other communities are experiencing a lot of requests on this. So we'll need to evaluate each one, make sure that each one fits the parameters of what we'd like to see. But this has been a building that's been vacant for several years, at least a year, 12, 15 months at least. And we're going to, I'm sure, see some more potential investors as a result of this.
Okay, thanks.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Wenders.
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Items C, D, E, and F were approved under tonight's consent agenda, and that completes my report this evening.
Thank you. Next item is report of our Corporation Counsel, Michael Lorge.
Thank you, Mayor. Trustees, good evening, everyone. Item A is a resolution on the agenda for board action tonight. This resolution will approve a plat of subdivision for the property located at 4100 Birchwood Avenue, which is in an R2 single-family district. The subdivision will subdivide 2 lots and 2 adjacent subdivisions into 1 lot. Mayor, I request board action on this resolution tonight.
A motion is in order on the resolution for a plat of subdivision for 4100 Birchwood. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Bromberg. Are there any comments or questions? If not, call the roll.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Wenders.
Aye, the motion passes.
Item B is a resolution on the agenda also for board action tonight. This resolution would approve a plat of subdivision for the property located at 5050 Dempster Street, which is in a B3 business and M1 office assembly industry district. The subdivision will combine 11 lots in 2 subdivisions into 1 lot. Mayor, I request board action on this resolution.
Motion on resolution approving the plat of subdivision for 5050 Dempster is in order. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Ulrich. Are there any comments or questions on this plat of subdivision? Trustee Roberts?
I'm just curious, Michael, is this for a business to operate, or what's the basis for the?
So this is the Walton properties, and it's for another business which is coming in. That's the reason for the CO reference, that the occupancy certificate. In general, the plan department has been looking to take these parcels where there are multiple subdivisions and combine them. And what we're trying to balance is, of course, the importance of getting that done to clean up all the plats in town that over time have been assembled and yet not unified into one pin and into one subdivision. And we're balancing that, of course, against the cost in some cases for the landowner, and also to make sure that there aren't other tax or future sales, intended sales, that would make it advantageous for them not to consolidate. But the general rule is to consolidate unless there's some other compelling reason.
Call the roll.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Wenders.
Aye, the motion passes.
That would then conclude my report.
Next item is Plan Commission. There are 3 cases up this evening. Chairman Paul Luke with Peter Pyer. Gentlemen.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Actually, the first 2 cases tonight, case 2017-39P, zoning map amendment, and case 2017-40P are related, but we need to finalize a vote on case 2017-39P before we can proceed on to 40P. In the 39P, it is a zoning map amendment at 4000 to 4012 Church Street. The Plan Commission heard a request of the Church Street Synagogue on behalf of Rafi Azumanian to amend the zoning map to change the zoning district for 4000 and 4012 Church Street from a B1 service commercial to a TX transit mixed use. The petitioner desires to rezone the subject site, which presently contains a vacant commercial building, a surface parking lot, to TX, which allows for taller building height and upper story residential with more potential FAR. The petitioner intends to raise the existing building and construct a mixed-use building with an enclosed parking and stormwater detention. Planning Commission concurred with staff's recommendation to grant the zoning map requested.
Okay, a motion is in order on Planning Commission case 2017-39P zoning map amendment for 4,000 and 4,012 Church Street. Motion is in order. Trustee Bromberg, seconded by Trustee Klein. Comments or questions?
Can you clarify for me with the transit mixed-use zoning, is that, let me rephrase, is that partially based on that there will be the more rapid bus line on Dempster Street?
It's not on Dempster Street.
Right, but is that where it's transit-oriented? Is that what
No,
this is
the
doing?
basis for
Okay.
that, I think Peter can outline that.
Well, first off, the current zoning is B1, and it does not allow a mixed-use development. And when we were brought this, we saw that this would be an ideal location for that type of a development. Also, the current business zoning height and most of the neighborhood mixed-use zoning district does not give enough height. We've been told that most developers are looking for at least 45 feet, 4 stories, and everything else would only allow 3 stories. We are justifying the change to the transit-oriented because there is a nearby rapid transit bus, or that you mentioned, and other bus lines in the area. So it does have a sort of connection to transit. That's the best we could say on it.
Okay. What I'm really concerned about, and I don't know if it falls under this, is because it's got transit, that means that whatever's built there doesn't require as much parking as it normally would have?
No.
No, okay.
This requires the full parking requirement.
Okay,
It's
thanks.
not a TOD.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll call the roll.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
In case 2017-40P, this is a site plan approval for 4,000 and 4,012 Church Street and 9220 Crawford Avenue. Plan Commission heard the petitioner's request to amend an existing site plan approval for a two-lot planned development in a TX Transit mixed-use zoning district and an R1 single-family zoning district that includes a mixed-use building with enclosed parking, an existing religious assembly building with surface parking and stormwater detention, plus relief from Chapter 118 to 212C1B.3 to provide 22-foot wide two-way driveway rather than the requested 24 minimum when 20 or more parking spaces are being served, and any additional relief that may be discovered upon its review. In 2009, a special use permit for a planned development was approved for a subject site to build a synagogue at 9220 Crawford Avenue with 7 required parking spaces on the 4,000 Church Street property, where the synagogue was previously located. At that time, the petitioner stated to the Plan Commission and to the village that it intended to return the 4,000 Street Church property to a suitable commercial use once the synagogue building was completed. The proposed plan replaces the existing 3,450 square foot commercial building at 4,000 Church with a 4-story mixed-use building with 3,800 square feet of modern commercial space, as well as 24 upper-story residences. The new building includes 7 off-street parking spaces for the synagogue, 13 commercial off-street parking spaces, and 4 residential guest parking places in front of the control gate. The developer has chosen to provide 39 residential off-street parking spaces. The building accommodates parking for a ratio of 1 to 300 square feet use in the commercial space. At the time of the meeting, the Appearance Commission had not yet approved the elevations. Discussions from the commissioners included the amount of ground floor retail space, the size of the ownership of residential units, support of the 4-story height, confirmation of an overflow parking plan, allocation, and spaces on all the parcels. Let's see. One of the plan commissioners' recommended conditions was that the Plan Commission grants the Engineering Division the authority to amend the recommended conditions to require any changes to signs, driveways, and other traffic-related concerns that may arise from a result of the traffic study report, which has not yet been completed at the time of the meeting. The traffic study impact indicated that the traffic generated by this development can be accommodated without major impact to the roadway system. Furthermore, all of the studied intersections are projected to operate at current levels of service with minimum increases to the overall traffic delay. All plan modifications that were required prior to the hearing to the Board of Trustees have been completed. The petitioner has not yet provided the nature and location of the public art, but agrees to comply with the village's recommended condition. Legal notice was properly posted, and 2 interested parties spoke about the case. The first one had concerns about existing overflow synagogue parking onto her adjacent parking lot. The second was delighted to see a plan for the corner property. The Plan Commission concurs with the village staff to approve the request.
A motion on site plan approval, case number 2017-40P for 4,000 and 4,012 Church Street and 9220 Crawford Avenue is in order. Trustee Bromberg, seconded by Trustee Sutker. Comments, questions? Trustee Klein.
Just for the record, I had a conversation with Mike Link, and with the second go-round, the elevations were approved. So, if that matters. You had stated that they weren't at the time.
At the time of the...
Yeah, but they since have been.
Any comments or questions? Trustee Roberts.
Paul and Peter, I remember this case from back in 2009, and I know the adjoining neighbors were concerned about parking, although I know it's an Orthodox synagogue and most of the members walk to services, but when they have special events or services, is there still an overflow parking agreement in place for this congregation or?
Well, actually, it's my understanding that most of the people that are buying into the building are members of the synagogue. Therefore, they'll just walk across the alley. So I think that alone will lessen the impact in the parking lot.
And I saw have there been any complaints or any problems with parking in the neighborhood, or?
Well, the only complaint that we received was from the neighboring property owner to the west. And they indicated that at certain times that people do park in their lot. The synagogue president was at the Plan Commission meeting. He indicated that he would address that with his synagogue, and we haven't heard any complaints since. We haven't heard any other complaints, and the new development will continue to have 7 parking spaces for synagogue members to park there because the two are connected and cannot be separated.
Yeah. So actually, with this new development, there'll be 7 additional parking spots for the synagogue,
the
or
synagogue will still
or just preserve ones that they've already had.
Ones that they already have on this portion of the lot.
Okay. And then I had asked the assistant village manager before the meeting. So the synagogue owns this property, and is it now tax exempt? But now that this commercial development will be on the property? Will it be back on the property tax rolls?
Yes, the original planned development or special use required that this building be returned to commercial usage. However, over the time period that they've been operating, it doesn't appear that there's been any official use of the building. It may be used temporarily by the synagogue for purposes, for their own purposes, but they have never had a commercial tenant there, so it has not been on the tax rolls. But now with this change to a mixed-use development with commercial on the ground floor, it'll be taxed as a regular commercial on the ground floor, and the residential will have the regular taxes also. And it doesn't matter that they're combined. It's now a actual commercial use.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Sutker.
It says, at the meeting, staff added a condition to merge the existing special use conditions for the religious assembly into the site plan approval, since it was determined that the special use was no longer needed. I'm not sure I understand what that's saying.
Well, I would say about a year ago, the board passed an amendment to the zoning code that requires that all sites over 1 acre in residential and commercial districts go through site plan approval. And so now this is underneath the new code, and it's a combined site, so now it has a site plan approval ordinance that will be passed, and the special use permit is no longer necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Keeler.
I'm not really totally understanding. So they have to provide 7 parking spaces for the synagogue.
Yes.
So within this new development, there's these 7 spaces. So those 7 spaces,
They're not inside the building.
Well, they could be.
I thought they were supposed to be, at the plan commission, I thought they said they were inside.
Rafi's here, he could show you exactly where they're at, but I believe they're out here in the back. You come in off the alley, synagogue's up here, and you'd come in the alley, you'd come into these spaces, and these would be the area where the synagogue parking is at.
So do those 7 spaces stay off the tax rolls because they have to be held for?
I don't think so.
Just
Because of the
nitpicking here.
combined
Yeah.
use, and the commercial people could use it. The visitor parking is also out here, and commercial parking is also in this area when you come in and in the back. So it would be shared use. And so,
To Pete's point, in fact, if you look at the plan closely, it delineates it not just as synagogue, but synagogue and retail space parking. And that would make it foreclosed as being tax exempt.
just to clarify on the parking, your question was, is it the same as the CX? It is higher. It's 1.35 parking spaces per unit. And if you're in the CX downtown, it's only 1 space per unit. And then there's an additional parking for visitors, and here also there's additional parking for visitors.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Greg Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. Congratulations.
My next case is case 2017-48P, a special use permit for 5214 and 5240 Main Street. At the December 21st meeting of the Plan Commission, we heard the request of Panqual Associates and 5214 Main Street LLC on behalf of Calvary Redemption Center for a special use permit for a religious assembly at 5214 and 5240 Main Street in a B1 service commercial zoning district. Calvary Redemption Center, which currently has approximately 150 members, has outgrown its existing facility that is leased at 8256 Skokie Boulevard, and intends to purchase the subject site and remodel the first floor of the existing office building at 5214 Main in order to operate a 192-seat church and related uses. The proposed use will share the building with the existing accounting office, which will continue to operate on the second floor. Both tenants will share the 52 parking lot spaces that is located at 5240 Main Street on the west side of Latrobe Avenue. During the review of this case, staff determined that relief from Chapter 118 and 218 would need to be requested in order to provide 52 parking spaces rather than the required 64 spaces. The relief can be justified since the existing counting office is closed on the evenings and weekends and when most of the church activity will be taking place. The Plan Commission concurs with staff recommendation to grant the special use.
A motion on the special use permit, Plan Commission Case 2017-48P for 5214 and 5240 Main Street is in order. Trustee Sutker, seconded by Trustee Gray Keeler. Are there any comments or questions? Trustee Roberts.
I guess just to kind of follow up on the question from the previous case, this again, it will be kind of a mixed-use building in terms of property taxes, because you have do you know how big the accounting firm is? Is it in relation to the church in the uses of the building? And
The accounting firm is in this area over here.
Mhm.
It's on the second floor. We've got a building drawing. So it's probably about a quarter or a third, let's say, of the building. It's the entire upper floor. And so it's always difficult to tell how the tax assessor is going to look at it, but it will be shared. And so the parking lot will probably be fully taxed and the building will be partially taxed.
And then as the Plan Commission discussed, Paula, the feeling was that because of the types of use that accounting's day and the church is mostly night and evenings, that the parking would work out. They're a little short on the parking, but
Yes, the accounting firm does get a lot of, customers walking off the street. They have set clients, so they have very many visitors, except for the employees that work there, to compensate their parking. So we felt that, since the accounting firm is there mostly during the day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, the church isn't there, that the parking lot, can serve dual use.
and if the and I'm sure most pastors, they want their church to rapidly grow. What in terms of the future, there's 192 seats, so.
Yes.
But on average, they felt that this would handle the parking lot would Jason would handle the number of folks in the church.
Yes, he's very confident.
Are there any other comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
I vote aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Winters.
Aye, the motion passes. Congratulations and welcome.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. The concluding item on the agenda this evening is citizen comments. Is there anybody who wishes to address the village board? If not, I think it's Trustee Roberts' turn.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.